Morning. So we are on our way over to Coates Heath. That's the job that we first took the crusher to. So the first crusher video was at that site where we ripped up all them bits and bobs. We took them old buildings down, we crushed everything up, we relayed to a point, but obviously we've got the building which is going to retain some of the ground. So we can't finish the groundworks there until the frame is up and the retaining panels are in. When I spoke to Chris yesterday, he was saying that the frame is now up and they're starting to fit the retaining panels. So hopefully we'll get there and we'll have some of that to look at. So while we're driving over, we'll leave you guys with a quick look and catch up with the big site, because on the big site we've got concrete floor beams being fitted, so Big Dave's on that. Nets and handrail are due to come down. The roof is completely on now and the dwarf wall around the bottom is complete. So I'll let you guys have a look at that and we'll see you at Coates Heath in a minute. So here we are, massively different than when we were last here. All the frame is up, Zeds are on, eaves beams are in, all the bracings are in, and all the panels are starting to be fitted now. So the panels on the lower level, these are the retaining panels. 4 bays over there, which is going to be the grain store, and then this end we've got an open end, an internal cladded wall, a bay back if you like, and this end is where the dryer is going. Still some building up to do yet, which we knew, because we want the yard right to where the door is on that side. So basically we've got some retaining panels to go across this end. We'll build all the ground up inside and then do the concreting work. So let's have a look at these panels here. If you remember, when we were here last time, the ground massively dropped off and we built it up in layers with the crushed concrete and the stuff that we bought in. And we left it sat back just far enough so that it didn't flow in and cover the foundations that we've installed on the lower level. Once these panels are in, we need to get these posts grouted in. So like I said before, them cones, the bolt in the middle, at the moment there's tolerance and play. We're going to lose that by grouting them in. We can then backfill the ground in layers and just as we put the layers in, roll each layer in, compact it all the way up, and then this effectively is our finished floor level. So that's the level that the building is going to be inside, and you can see there's quite a difference in level here, but when this concrete panel retaining wall goes in, we can then make good afterwards. We're going to backfill this side as well with the material that we excavated from around this area. But before we do that, we've got to put a drain in, and we've got to take that quite a fair way down the field, which it looks like Dave's already made a little bit of a start there, and that'll act as a French drain then, so anything in terms of groundwater coming, rather than go into the building, we're getting rid of it, which is what we want. So same as on the low side, these are the actual grain retaining panels for the building. So the panels go in down the side of the building first, which are clamped to the main stanchion, which is the same clamping method as here, as in that clamp plate with the bolt that goes into the preset threaded hole. These are 1500 high, 6 inches thick or 150 thick, and roughly 20-foot long panels, so there's some weight in these. We put the side ones in, and then effectively where you've got a gable or an internal gable wall, the panel that's coming this way, you can't actually get to the stanchion because these panels are covering it. So what we have to do then is we have to put a corner angle on, which will take the weight of them panels and also stop any pressure. If you imagine the far side now being full of grain, there's a lot of pressure pushing on this wall, so we want to stop it coming out. So we have a built-in big corner angle that what we do is we bolt then through into that side wall. These are rag bolts that we drill and bolt into the panel. So a rag bolt or a through bolt is basically a bolt, you drill a hole, you push it in, and as you tighten it up, the casing round the bolt expands as it's trying to pull back out, and that sandwiches it in to that panel. So we've got two lots of pressure here. We've got the pressure that will happen when you're pushing against or you've got grain loading this way, and you've got pressure at the minute by the weight of these panels pulling down. But the shear pressure on one of them bolts is probably about 10 tonne. So if you think about it, we've got roughly 9-10 tonnes worth of pressure on a shear loading point. So the corner angle goes in, that's got a landing plate on it, similar to what we have on the stanchions, and then panels come and sit down on the top. And just remember, loading wise, as in weight, these are all temporary until the concrete floor goes in, because once the floor's gone in, everything's supported by the concrete then. And what we'll do then is, with it being a grain store, all of the joints between the panels and up and down the corner angles, the posts and wherever it goes, everything there is mastic sealed. So all that'll be sealed to stop any water ingress. Another thing that a lot of grain stores, in fact all of our grain stores in fact, but any bigger building that's got any form of loading on it, quite often an engineer will specify a hairpin. Not like I would have when I'm getting ready in the morning, but this hairpin would go in this hole in the bottom of the stanchion. So basically what we do is we put a hole in the bottom of the stanchion, and there's a big thick piece of rebar that's bent in a shape like that, and it pokes through, and you thread it round and comes through here and comes out. So there's two legs sticking out to about here. And then what we do is you'll tie that hairpin to the mesh that's going in the floor slab, which ultimately the mesh is all then tied together all the way along the building until you get to the hairpin on the other side. And when it's all concreted together, you've created a strap or a brace, whatever you want to call it, across the bottom of the shed to stop the legs possibly being able to do that. So that's it, that's where we're up to at the minute. Going back to what I was saying before, retaining panels are going across that end, but the end of the building is open visually. There's no cladding on the end apart from the square to eaves at the top. We've got cladding down this internal wall, and that creates this singular bay in which the grain dryer will go into. A lot of the time grain stores generally have doors on the gable end, but the orientation of how this building was going, the layout of the site, it worked far better to put it in the side. So we've got a side door going in there, personnel door next to, and then basically we'll reconcrete all this yard to get back to that level so that we're picking up all the water and stopping anything flowing toward the building. So I think he's got grain dryer on order. We've got James from JDC coming to do the electrical install in here shortly. We've got to track him a cable all the way around the outside of the existing yard and basically bring it in supply wise to the new building. So still loads to do here yet. Not worried yet, but harvest is creeping up on us slowly, so we do need to keep pressure on. Okay, so that's it on the local job at Coates Heath. As you've seen, the frame's up, concrete panels are in, and everything is going well. I've just spoke with Big Dave, and basically what we've got is Dave's going to go back with the guys and start filling that triangle in now between the concrete panels and where we chamfered the stone off to, so we could get the building up. Once that's filled back in and levelled off and rolled in layers and compacted it all, we can then get the netters and handrailers in. They'll come and net and rail the building, and then once they've done that, we can get on with the roof, start fitting the other panels, the rails, and get all the cladding done. So Dave's going to go on to that, but we've got a crushing job booked in for next week. So me and Big Dog Clayton, we're going to go across and get the crushing done to free Dave and the guys up. They're going to head back over to here, so we'll get you a bit of crushing next week. Slowly but surely the crusher's working its way away from home, because that next job is not far from Manchester Airport, so that's where we're heading next with the crusher. If you like what you've seen, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and we'll catch you guys next time. Cheers.